Hey, oh, I'm not on screen. Raise this up. Raise it. All right, now I'm on. Hello. All right, salam. All right, let me do my intro real quick. Salam. My name is Mustafa. I am the host of Sabr Path. You pronounce it Sabr. Sabr means to have steadfast, patience, stoicism, being steadfast during hard times, doing the right thing, the good thing when it's the hard thing to do. That's what supper means, not saber. Saber path. Anyways, about myself real quick. I've done game development. So basically, I worked at Treyarch for a few years during the entire development of Black Ops 4. I was there doing administrative work. I've worked at indoor cycling software as a service, kind of like a game. I was doing QA for them. I've done solo indie development on my own game, Nexus Defenders, which is currently on sale on Steam. We're going to talk about that in a second. Also have another game, Beware Tomorrow, on a back burner. I need to get back to it. And what else? I've taught at the college level, taught adults at the college level, at community college, taught game design, graphics design, game testing. But teach graphics design again this fall. And what else? I've been doing this channel talking about problems in the gaming industry, talk about my views, trying to talk about solutions, potential solutions, talk about what the problems are, therefore we can come up with the solutions. Uh-oh. I didn't pause though. I still got the music going. That music out of here. You guys hear me? Should I say that all over again? I shouldn't say that all over again. Okay, all right. Anyways, um, go to the chat. How you guys doing? We got name Gnome. How's it going? Gonna replant tomatoes while listening. All right, awesome. Awesome that you're planting tomatoes. Uh Peaceful Dance. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that the music's still on. I just noticed in front of me. I was looking at the camera rather than the screen. I was like, "Oops, music's still on." Let me do that intro again since it was loud. My name is Mustafa. I do video games and this is my channel. I talk about video games on this channel. Boom, boom, faster this time. Um, Ion chat. How's it going, Muhsin? How you doing? Uh, don't tell him. Uh, wonder how Sever has set up his camera. He looks completely away from the chat when looking into the camera. Yeah. So I got the camera here. I got a monitor here. This is the monitor that I share screen on. So I'm pointing this way. This is the monitor that I share the screen. I have another monitor here. This one has my OBS set up, um, with so I can see what's going on OBS with the chat and everything. I have another monitor over here, but I don't really have too much over there because that's too far. So I don't really use that too much during the streams. If I do use that one, it's usually maybe for like notes or something. But I don't use that third monitor for streaming. Also, that's a vertical monitor. That's my setup. Anyways, um, you want me to say the intro again? Okay, doing video games. Hurrah! All that PC setup info. PC setup. It's not. I mean, it's not very good at PC at this point. I mean, it was decent. Like when did I buy it? 2021. Yeah, 2021. So 5 years ago, it wasn't bad. It was a pretty good one. It was a good gaming PC. Well, it wasn't like top of the line 2021. It was a 30. It's a 3070. I don't even remember what's all in there, but yeah, the GPU is a 3070. Um, yeah, you're right, Marcin. It's a 3070. Um, anyways, so let's talk about. First of all, I want to apologize to all you guys in the chat. Last week, I was like, "Oh, I'll have the new video out tomorrow." Wasn't able to finish it because things distracted me, and then I had work multiple days in a row. Plus, we had the community center. We had programs every night with the family. So yeah, I by the time I had it ready to go out, it was Friday, and then I was like, I'm not gonna release it on Friday because historically, I've had issues releasing a video on Friday, because basically the way how it works is that when you release a video, the first 24 hours are basically the people who usually watch the videos. They will see it in their feed. And then the second 24 hours, so 24 hours, 24 to 48, YouTube will start showing it into other people's feeds that aren't subscribed to me that might like the video. And basically, um, from there, those second 24 hours, I haven't had success over the weekend. Like, historically on weekends, it never finds an audience for me. So, uh, I just wanna avoid releasing on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday just to avoid that problem altogether. And then I released it yesterday for members. First of all, there's no members, but, I figured might as well get the members set up. I'll talk about members in a second. But anyways, so I released it yesterday and I'll make it public today. So after this stream is over, the new video will be public. But as for the members has gone live. Let's Where is it? First of all, let me get something on the screen. I can share the screen. Where is it? There it is. All right. Let's look at this one. Share screen. All right. So here we go. Here's the image I put out. Basically, members will get these perks. So I'll release the video when I release a video, which first of all, it's not going to be too often. I'm trying to do like one a month. Um, so yeah, I'm being straightforward with you. I'm not making like one a week like I used to at one point. I don't have the time to do one a week. It's too time consuming. I need to make money. So I'm gonna try to do one a month. Um, and so 1 day early access to new videos. That's what you get. I'll release it on 1 day, and then I publish it the next day. I've been doing that anyways without the memberships because basically the way how YouTube works is that if you upload a video, you kind of have to keep it unlisted for like a day. It's recommended to have it unlisted for a day because the longer YouTube has the video uploaded and processed, the more time it has to understand the video. And then that way it will have a better chance of finding a better audience. So, like, the YouTube secret is that you upload a video and don't release it the same day. You upload a video and you release it, like, the next day. At the very least, the what YouTubers say is, or the experts say, at the very least, don't publish it for at least 2 hours. Let YouTube have at least 2 hours of processing it. So I've been doing that anyways, but so basically what I'll do is that rather than make it unlisted, I'm making it members only for a day. And then anyone who is on the list of members, I'm going to give them a shout out at the end of the video for that month. Um It depends on the number. If the number's lower, like 10 or less, I'll list off everybody's name. I'll say everybody's name verbally. If the number's astronomically high, like let's say, 30. Well, that's not astronomically, but still, still 30 is a lot of people for me to just sit there and read everybody's name. So if I get like 30 or so, if I got a big number of members, I'm just going to just have their names on the screen. So that's how it will work. Priority reply to comments, so members will have priority replies, and also you get a loyalty badge and emojis. Right now, there are no emojis. I have to add emojis. I have to figure out what emojis I want to use because emojis should be funny, and they also should be like at least related to the brand. So if I have like, for example, this Sabr Path logo, that's a boring emoji. No one wants to use that. Like people are gonna want emoji
Ugh,
like
brother,
like
ugh.
ew brother, ew.
What's that?
People want that
What's
type
that,
of
brother?
emoji. So I'll look into what emojis I should have. So anyways, that's the membership, and the membership is basically like if you want to help support the channel, like, $5 a month, that's basically it. This is basically the what the membership's for. If you don't want to financially support the channel, that's fine. I'm not requiring anybody. Right now the channel's too small for me to say, "Oh, chat's only going to be members only." The channel's not a giant channel. So right now, everyone's still going to have access to the chat during the live streams. Live streams are still public for everybody. So that's basically it. The membership isn't going to lock away anything. The membership's basically like, hey, you want to support the channel, and I'm going to say, basically give you a thank you for it. That's basically it. Let me catch up to the chat real quick. Du- 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 du. Have I seen Super? No, I have no plans to watching Super. I don't really go to the movie theaters anymore because I don't. First of all, movie theaters are super expensive. I don't have the money for that, and also I just don't have time to watch movies anymore. And Supergirl, I have no interest. I didn't even watch Superman. I didn't watch the latest Superman movie. I heard mixed things about it. I heard some people really liked it. I heard some people didn't like it. I watched a few videos on it, and I was like, this doesn't seem like something I'm gonna like. So I didn't even watch Superman. I have no interest in watching Supergirl. I saw like a few scenes that people were showing on um like Twitter, like gifs from the trailer, and I'm like, wow, that CG looks terrible. Like one where she flies up to somebody and kicks their head, and it just looks it reminds me of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. The CG looks terrible. Let's see. Internet names. Imagine listing off 30 Elden Ring MP multiplayer usernames. I'm not even gonna say those out loud. No, no. Um, brother, ew. Yeah, exactly. That's where.
Ugh, brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
Yeah, that's the type of emoji I should have. Let's see what else. Hey, Liam, how's it going, Liam? Watch World War II movies over superhero movies. Yeah, I watch. I mean, superhero movies are superhero movies have fallen. Like at one point, when people were first saying, "Oh, I'm having superhero fatigue," I was like, "No, I'm loving this. I'm never gonna have superhero fatigue." I'm done. I'm done at this point. Like, especially because the fact that the quality has gone down and they've all become cookie cutter, and not even just cookie cutter, but they're not even attempting to make good stories. But what else? What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, Nexus Defenders. That's also, I posted that on here. So here we go. Yeah. So this is part of the Steam sale. What's the date until? July 9th. So yeah, 30% off. 349. I mean, if you want to support the channel, this is a cheap way to support the channel, and you get a game that's about 4 to 7 hours long, depending on how many times you have to replay a level. It's not the best game ever. I'm not gonna like hype it up as something amazing. It's basically like, if you like Defense Grid, you like those type of games. Like if you play Defense Grid and like that, you might like this game. Um, so uh I'd really appreciate that, if you want to support the channel. I don't really make too much off of this because out of that 349, I keep 70%, and then you remove tax. So it's probably going to be closer to 60% of that. So I barely make anything off this, so it's not like I'm going to make big bucks. Um, the most helpful thing you could do is, if you already own this, leave an honest review, because the number, like, if it hits 50, this goes from positive to mostly positive if it hits 50 reviews. So and also that helps the Steam algorithm when it hits 50 reviews. I think the next milestone is 500 reviews. No one's really too sure where the milestone's at, but basically the way how Steam works is that the first milestone is 10 reviews, because before 10 reviews, your game doesn't even show up to, like, most people's feed. Their queue. And then, so 10 first is 10 reviews, then it's 50 reviews, and then it's probably like 500. The jump is huge, it's 500 reviews. But anyways, if you want to help out, um, help the channel, leave a review, an honest review. Don't leave a fake review. Don't be like um where is let's my favorite review. Where is it? There are some negative reviews. They're basically saying that the game's too short. Where is it? MZM is the This guy has the best review. Okay, yeah, this one right here. Zelda, Mario Bros, and Skyrim. These are some of the games that come to mind when I think of the top of the line games growing up. Well, add Nexus Defenders to that list. This game is engaging and forces you to strategize on the fly if you're going to advance to the next level. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Give me an honest review. Don't make it look obviously fake, dude. Don't leave a DJ Khaled style review. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, okay. But anyways, yeah, if you want to help out the channel, and just to be even more transparent, if you're like anti AI artwork, I guess don't buy the game, because I have AI artwork. These are all generated by with AI. Um, I mean, at the very least, I used it within the workflow, and it was like a process of making the images, rather than be like, oh, here's a prompt. I'm going to take the first thing that comes out. Like, these actually took me like quite a while to make it how I wanted to, because there was a lot of editing and regenerating and stuff like that. So, at the very least, it was a process. It wasn't like I just came out. But if you're against the AI art, then I'm gonna be transparent. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say I drew these or commissioned somebody. Um, StarCraft Killer, bro. Yep, that's it. Where is it? StarCraft Killer. Anyways, what else was the next thing? This one. Oh, this okay. Yeah, that was it. Was there anything else that I wanted to cover? Oh, I just want before I get to the main topic, which is going to be Jason Schreier. Oh, I want to talk about let me patience. I had a I had a Twitter post go viral a couple weeks ago. I forgot to mention it last. It's not even a big deal. It's not a big deal. I just forgot to mention it last stream, but I made just this really dumb tweet, and then Candace Owens retweeted it, and then it went omega viral. Um, where is it? Like, I ended up like gaining, I don't know, like 20 or so. Yeah, around like 20 or 30 followers after that. Um, where is it? It was let me get this on screen somewhere on here. It wasn't even like a it wasn't it's never the well thought out ones that end up going viral. That's the thing. Here it is. Like this one, I was like, oh yeah, this is well thought out. This is gonna go viral. Matrix, Idiocracy, Wally, you are here. Yeah, this went nowhere. So I was like, yeah, this one, this is well thought out. No, it went nowhere. Anyway, this is where to go? What? Oh, it was this one. Yeah, this one right here. We decided to put so basically the guys from uh TP USA, they admit that the video clip of Charlie Kirk saying that if anything were to happen to me, I want Erica to be in charge. In this video, they admit that the recording is fake, but he said it at some point in private, so they thought it was okay for them to make a video of him saying it to troll the trolls. So I just quote tweeted this saying we decided to put words in our dead friends' mouths so we can troll the trolls, and then Candace Owens retweeted it, and then this went pretty viral. I mean, like like a quarter of a million views. And one thing I noticed that so I'd say around 80 to 90% of the people who are like leaving replies and stuff are Candace Owens fans because she's the one who retweeted me. But then you have like 10 to 20% who are obviously people who follow Candace Owens but hate her guts. It's like, why do you hate watch somebody? Why do you hate follow somebody? Like, I don't understand it. If you really don't like somebody, like block them from your feed. J word dinosaurs. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Let me Candace hey, play nice games. How's it going? Yeah, so Candace Owens, my thoughts on her is I feel like she's what's it called? Controlled opposition. I think I think she's a plant. I don't think I because the way how Candace like all right, so the way how controlled opposition works is that they're going to basically they'll say a lot of stuff that's true, but then they will immediately say something crazy like before or after, but not connect the two, but because they say it like immediately after, uh the viewer will connect the two together. And that's what she does a lot. She will say a lot of stuff that's true and then will say something far crazy. And this can do multiple things. First of all, it can like discredit all the true stuff that she just said. So, she says A, B, C, D, all these things are true. And then E is completely crazy. And because that's completely crazy, it makes A, B, C, and D look false. Um, like that's one of the reasons why, yeah, two truths and a lie. Like they will say that, like, controlled opposition will do that a lot to discredit, and also like this whole like, oh, conspiracy theorists, all that stuff. Like, it makes it look crazy to connect dots because of people like Candace Owens. Um, I mean, I can't see inside her heart if she is being truthful or not, but that's how I perceive it. Um, yeah, that's basically it. I don't follow her. Uh, I guess so. The reason why she ended up seeing my post, I think it's because she actually retweeted the thing I quote tweeted. And then I quote tweeted it, and I think because I did it immediately after her, because she showed up on my feed, um, so because I did it immediately after, she was able to see mine. I think that's the reason why, I was spotted by her, but for, like, the entire night, I was basically, like, the last her retweet of my tweet was the last tweet she had on her page. It was, like, at the top of her feed for, like, the entire night. So there, like, it was, my notifications were going crazy. But, I just wanted to bring that up. It's not like a significant post I made or anything like that. It wasn't, uh, anything well thought out. But I just thought it was a funny experience that, I had, like, this viral post. It's like, okay, this viral post is not helping me out at all. It's not helping me gain an audience or anything, because the 20 or 30 people who ended up following me, they're all like these MAGA women, or America First, I guess, because MAGA and America First are like two different movements at this point. But like they're these America First women, so they're all like either moms, or some of them are young women. But it's like, okay, you're following me because I did this one thing, but are you gonna really like the rest of my tweets? Not gonna help me in the long run, because I feel like, when it comes to audience building, you want a specific audience that is going to resonate with you, rather than, oh, it's just this one thing. Like, it reminds me of this one. I'm not gonna call her out or anything, but this one engineer, I guess she's a game developer. Yeah, similar channel to mine, where she talks about stuff, and I guess she was, like, her her brand, so her YouTube channel wasn't doing too well until she had one video of stop killing games with the pirate software. Like, she didn't even talk about pirate software. She just focused on stop killing games because, well, everyone was talking about pirate software because they want to dunk on him, but she wanted to be nice, so she just talked about stop killing games. And because some women, they're too afraid to be mean. They wanna be nice to everybody. I guess that's the impression I get from her. But she had to stop killing games, and she had one video that went fairly good, like few thousand views, um, which is a lot better than her previous stuff. And then I noticed on her channel, like after that, like everything she was doing was like, stop killing games, stop killing games, stop killing games. And then when she noticed that that wasn't doing too well, she was like doing other related, like, kind of like rage bait topics, where it's like, okay, you completely shifted your um your content to try to utilize this exact one video. And at that point, like, you're kind of pigeonholing yourself. You can't really talk about other topics because you're only talking about one topic. Um, that's the one thing I'll try to keep in mind with my videos. I try to make sure that, I'm not talking about like the same. I'm not trying to talk about the same topics all the time because, uh, that way I can build a better audience. YouTube will understand who's my audience, but also it just gets tiring to talk about the same thing. Like sometimes, there's like an update with one of these things. Like for example, let's say Perfect Dark. And then it got all these things happened with the development, and then it finally got canceled. At a certain point, it's like, man, I'm just tired of talking about this. Or Assassin's Creed Shadows, I guess that one I really got tired of. I made like 3 videos on that. I'm like, come on. I don't want. All right, the game's out now. I'm just going to go do one last video on Assassin's Creed Shadows because I was like, I'm just tired of talking about this. But anyways, let me catch up with the chat, and then we're gonna start. So the main topic, we're going to do a reaction to Jason Schreier's video he released, like I think yesterday. So Jason Schreier. Oh, let me catch up with the chat real quick before I get into that. What was I gonna look at? I was gonna pull something up. Okay, yeah, there we go. Close some of these tabs. Close that out. Oh, I didn't mean to close that out. Reopen that. That's where the video was. Did I just lose the video? Oh, I see my video. Where? Okay, I think I have in the description of this. Let me catch up to the chat real quick before I forget. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right. So sometimes I read the chat over here because OBS is over here, and the chat is a smaller um display, the smaller window. But then other times I'll go over here and look at chat because this is where the browser's at. And if I look at the um, YouTube Studio, the chat is much longer. And it's easier for me to go through and read. Okay, let's see. Oh, before I forget, I guess, yeah, I'm always open for super chats. If you want to do a super chat, feel free to do a super chat. If you don't want to do a super chat or you can't afford to do a super chat, the next best way to support the channel is to give the video a like. Please hit the like button, and that helps the algorithm. So let me scroll down. Yeah, I agree with you guys about them being frauds. Speaking of dinosaurs, have any of you heard the the theory that dinosaurs didn't exist, but dragons exist? Because if you look at just about like every culture, every culture, there's some form of dragon mythology. Almost every culture. And when it comes to dinosaurs, like they found one bone, and then all of a sudden they found like all these other bones, and then they just stopped finding more bones for some reason. And also, if you question it, like if you question about the existence of dinosaurs to AI, it it will get defensive. They'll be like, "No, it's definitely real. I'm not even going to entertain the idea that it wasn't real. Definitely real." So anytime AI gets defensive about something, you got to question, be like, how real is this? Real is it? Because AI is getting defensive. But maybe dragons were real, but dinosaurs weren't. Who knows? Only God knows. The truth of yeah, okay, got that. Rational to accept how stupid the intent really is. Wine moms. I like that peaceful dance. Yeah, yeah, that's that. I'm not saying they did something. I'm just asking questions. Yeah, that's basically like you know I'm just asking questions. I mean, yeah, at one point, I guess asking questions. You're not allowed to ask questions, and that's definitely a surefire way to show that you're onto something. Because like, oh, I'm not allowed to ask questions about this. Not allowed to like, how do we get these figures? How did we get these numbers? We can't question if the numbers are real. We can't question like this works. This is a 95% chance of preventing you from getting the spread. Oh, now it's 90%. Now it's 85%. Now it's 80. Now it's 70. Now it's 50%. How come we couldn't question it when it was 95% and now it's 50%? If you're not allowed to ask questions, then, you know, ask those questions. Gonna be hard to, as a small creator, the rush of videos doing well. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Liam, about yeah, it's really hard as a small creator because it's like, okay, you get one video that goes viral, and then it's like, okay, what I do, what I do, because like I had a video that went super viral, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to capitalize off this, and then I mean, like, I feel like I dropped the ball on it. It kind of, I did, my subscriber base kind of not only plateaued, but ended up going down. And it wasn't until like this month it started going back up. I'm starting to finally get positive subscriber growth this past month. And it's mainly because that same video has resurfaced in the algorithm. That's DEI, the first DEI video got like over 2,000 views just this month alone. Dragon's the icon of whales. Nice. Okay, all right. I feel like this AI getting defensive. Sorry. All right. We got caught up. I read through the chat. Sorry I didn't reply to everybody. I'm just trying to get back to where'd the video even go? First of all, let me switch over to my non-personal account on YouTube, and then we'll look up Jason Schreier. Jason Schreier, and there he is smiling. All right. So let me get this on screen. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, I just did that in the. My bad. I shouldn't have done that in the microphone. Trying to clear my throat. Sorry. Whoop. That's not. That wasn't it. Wrong button. This is what I was trying to get here. Wonder why that resets the. Oh, I think I know why. the chat resets when I go to this screen, but I think I know why. I have to change the settings. Um, As a DI video resurfaced, I saw it pop up on my feed a lot. I confused. I was like, why? But I'm glad. So yeah, it's I think Asmongold's video resurfaced, and then that led to my video resurfacing because a lot of people went back to mine. So hopefully that means the video I'm going to release today will do well as far as the algorithm. But let's get into let me get this on. And we're going to so this is Jason Schreier. For those of you who are unaware of who Jason Schreier is, I'm pretty sure my current the audience who are in the chat right now, you guys know who he is. But for those who might be watching in the future, hi, how you doing? Um, Jason Schreier is a veteran journalist. Here's the thing, like he's probably I know a lot of people like really hate him because he's part of um the crowd that pushes for the social politics. But I have to at least give him credit that he's probably one of the better journalists because he does a lot of um like actual journalism. He he gets stuff behind the scenes, he gets a lot of information. There's one article that he released about about Treyarch when I worked there. In fact, it was when I worked there. He released an article about Treyarch, about like mainly about like how QA don't get treated well as far as pay and stuff like that, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and why the what went wrong with Black Ops 4. And I know one of the people I didn't reach out, like I didn't contact him. But I do know one of the people. He was like, "Hey, he privately told me. I'm not gonna like say who it is because I don't want to like throw anyone on the bus. But he told me that he was contacting Jason Schreier. He was like, "Hey, you know of Jason Schreier? Yeah, I sent him an email with all this stuff, this and that. We've been going back and forth." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Yeah, I'll let you know when the article comes out. Um, but yeah, so like he actually does journalism, and he has a good understanding of the industry, but he's also what was the crazy tweet he said? He said something about Veilguard, like Dragon Age Veilguard, doing really well or something like that. I can't remember. It was some game. It was one of the games that end up flopping really bad, and yeah, he made a fool of himself because he's one of the people who defend all these nonsense games. But anyways, he started a channel recently, um, and basically, I mean, he's doing really well. I think mainly because he has a presence in the game industry. He's well known as far as his name. Um, but his thumbnails, he puts zero effort. He just takes a picture of himself from like a screen cap from the video itself. I should probably reach out to him and be like, "Hey, I'll do thumbnails for you," and send him some mock-ups of thumbnails, and like give him make an offer. We'll see. We'll see if that gets anywhere. Be like, "Hey, I can make some thumbnails for you." Because these are terrible thumbnails, but he's still doing well despite terrible thumbnails. I guess his face is good enough. Um, but anyways, we're gonna do video a response to this. Um, see, Jason's also in with the devs. Yeah, I agree with you, Liam. How many videos has Shia put out? Let's see. Since he started his channel, he has 12 videos, and he started like a month ago. Oh, he's pumping these out. I guess he just sits there and talks. This is he promoted all the flops Concord. Yeah, he did. Jason's a gaming journalist back. from when the team wasn't ironic or the when the term wasn't ironic. Yeah. Yeah. Like the thing is, like, I think he would get a lot more respect if he completely stayed out of the social politics, because the fact that he actually does journalism, but because of, like, he'll defend the flops and the social politics and act like he's one of the people that when you point out the social politics is being pushed, he's going to pretend that it's not there. Like there's a group of people who will pretend like, what are you talking about? Why are you connecting dots? He's one of those people. Um, but let's go into the video.
Hello.
Oh, let me know if the video is not loud enough. Actually, let me make this a little louder, or if it's too loud, let me know. And I'm gonna also make this. I don't know how fast he talks, but I'm gonna make this a little faster. Maybe we'll start with 2x, and if it's too fast, I'll slow it down. That way we can. But I'm gonna speed it up just so we can get through this faster. Um, Thumbnails like that work. Think about Asmongold thumbnails. Oh, like, yeah, the reason why Asmongold thumbnails work is because he'll do like goofy faces and stuff, but also Asmongold himself is what gets the clicks. That's why his thumbnails work. Um, my face is not going to get the clicks because, like, no one knows who I am. That's why, I mean, I'll put my face on thumbnails to try to make my face more recognizable, but it's not going to be the number one thing that gets clicks. Um, that's why it's more important for me to focus on other aspects such as using contrast and color. Hold on one second. Whoa. Alright, I felt a sneeze coming up. I'm sorry about that. I had to sneeze. But yeah, yeah, as far as, like, my thumbnails, I have to focus on, graphics design, uh, principles to help make my thumbnails stand out, like having contrasting colors and colors that contrast against the competition, big text that's very legible, try to have a face of a character that is recognizable. These are all things that help when it comes to the graphics design of a thumbnail. And I have to focus on these more than, like, Jason Schreier or I mean, Jason Schreier is definitely less recognizable than Asmongold, but Asmongold, he can just get away with his face because he is the draw. Is he from the tribe? I've seen some funny AI pictures of Jason as um, I'm not sure if he's one of the chosen people or not. I don't know. I've heard people say he is. I've heard people say a lot of stuff about him. So, but I don't know. Like people say that he likes other guys, but I looked it up and he's married. So it's like, yeah, I'm not just gonna take people's word for it. I mean, he's married to a woman. That's what I meant. Um, I was actually surprised when I found out his age. He's younger than me. I'm like, whoa, whoa. That's I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I haven't lost my hair yet. Thank you, God, for keeping my keeping me looking like this. And I need to get back in shape. So these are some of the books that he published. I should do that with myself because my video. In fact, yeah, in my new video that I'm releasing today, I talk about this book. I should have this like hanging behind. I should have a bookshelf behind me with this like clearly. This is me. Let me switch screens real quick. I was about to go knock my coffee. Level yourself up. There's my book, the actual book. Book with pages has pictures of how to do workouts. Look at that. It's a real book. Yeah. Look at that. You could like this is when I was like more fit. You could see these pictures. Whoops. Anyways, uh let's get back. Let's get back. Let's listen to him. All right, let's yeah, buy book. But anyways, let's listen to him. We got him double speed. Let's make him full screen and let's start the video.
It's your boy One Take Schreier here with another video. So in the wake of a whole lot of
Please let me know if he's too fast or if he is too loud or not loud enough. Let me know. Hey, Mr. 10 years. How's it going? I just saw you.
layoffs at companies like Bungie and soon to be Xbox, a lot of people are asking the question, hey, why don't all of those people go and make indie games? Indie games are a lot more creative, a lot more interesting, a lot more fun than a lot of the AAA games we see these days. There are a lot of indie hits. There are a lot of indies that just feel really good and are rewarding and satisfying and make you feel good to buy them. So why doesn't everybody do that? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about why making an indie game is not quite as easy as people might think it is. It's a little bit more like buying a lottery ticket. Really, it's like spending years of your life to have the opportunity to buy a lottery ticket and not making any money during that time. Then it is a surefire path to success. So let's back up a little bit. Let's say you are 23.
So he said. So basically, his thesis is that making an indie game is like a lottery ticket, but he doesn't explain what he means by that. What like I guess it is a financial gamble, but I mean that's making any expensive video game, especially the AAA, especially live service. Those are financial gambles as well.
You just graduated from college and you know you want to make games for a living. Maybe you majored in 3D art or in game design or engineering. And you know that you want to be a video game developer for a living. You have a couple options. One is you could apply for a traditional video game company. You could go to Microsoft or PlayStation or I don't know, Bethesda or Activision. I guess those are all part of Microsoft now. EA, et cetera, et cetera. Go down the list and apply for a job. And if you are lucky and talented enough, you will get a position at one of these companies where they pay you a full-time salary and benefits to make games for a living. If you're a little bit less lucky, you might get a job that is a contract position and maybe it's through an external vendor. Maybe they pay you a little bit less. Maybe the benefits aren't quite as good or non-existent. But you are promised that one day you will get full-time employment. And there used to be a time when following this particular career path was not a guarantee of stability, but it offered the kind of it offered more stability than alternate paths. That has changed a little bit over the last 3 years, especially as the video game industry has gotten more volatile and layoffs have become more ubiquitous. Layoffs were always a big part of the games industry. I wrote a book about it, Press Reset, that was published in 2021, way before any of this started, but it's gotten way worse. But you can follow that path, get through your 20s, get through your 30s, live a kind of traditional white-collar professional life, start a family, raise kids, buy a house, etc. If you're lucky enough and talented enough to continue on that ladder, you can keep making more money over time.
Not buy a house. even back then, like especially let's if we're rewinding, for example, let's just say 20 years, and all these jobs are most of these jobs are in California. Just to be straightforward, like not just I guess just West Coast, because there's a lot of them in Seattle as well. But West Coast, Seattle is almost the same as California as far as a lot of factors. But anyways, point being, even if you're making like 100 grand, which a lot of these jobs don't make that much. Like entry level, you're probably making 60, 70, maybe 80 at best, 80,000 a year US dollars. In California, that's not doing too well. Somewhere else, you could do pretty good with that money, but California, good luck buying a house. Good luck.
If you are fortunate enough to be at a company that offers profit sharing, you can make even more money. And so you can have a pretty stable life, at least in theory. Maybe not so much anymore, but at least in the past, you could do that. But let's say you're in your 20s and you want to follow a different path. Let's say you want to make games yourself. You don't want to kind of follow instructions and have to do what other people tell you. You want to make your own things. You have strong visions for what that might look like. That's a little bit of a different sort of career path. So for starters, you have to figure out how you're going to pay for your groceries and your rent while you are working on this game. There are a couple options there. You could get another job and you could get a kind of a traditional day job, maybe one that doesn't require creativity, trying to make your game on nights and weekends if you can actually drive yourself and motivate yourself to finish it. You could look for funding. You could marry a rich person. You could have rich parents. Just find some of those. If you just walk down the streets of New York City and say you want to find rich parents, I mean, chances are high that you'll find someone. But those are kind of like your options. And then that's just if you're by yourself, right? If you are...
Yeah, that's basically my issue with Beware Tomorrow. It's like I started the game, I started development, but it's like, okay, I gotta pay bills. And this is why I haven't worked on Beware Tomorrow for like a year and a half at this point. I started it October of, or no, before October. But anyways, it was 2024, late 2024 So we're getting close to 2 years of me not finishing this game that's supposed to be a quick. I was originally supposed to finish the game in like a month. So I'm getting close to 2 years because of this exact problem.
Or let's say an artist, but you don't know how to design games, just draw for them. Or if you are a designer and you have a very strong vision in your head for what a game might look like, but you don't know how to program or you don't know how to write music, chances are you're gonna have to bring on other people. And that also means paying their salaries. Sometimes you might, if you're kind of a bootstrapping indie project, you might promise them future equity in exchange for their work. That can get a little bit dicey. Can't guarantee that they're actually gonna commit to the project and stick with it. If you are doing grassroots and you don't have any money to fund your project, that means that you don't have money to fund people. And remember, I did a video about this a few weeks ago, but I think there's this misconception out there still that like funding for an indie game means, I don't know, buying computers or equipment or licenses. And that is a very small part of it. Funding for an indie game really means paying people salaries while they work on that game. Then let's say you do that. Let's say you find some way to, you sacrifice, you eat ramen for a couple of years and you make your grand creation and it's amazing and you are so proud of it. You are releasing into a market that is the most brutal it has ever been. I'm gonna pull up a stat that you might have seen before, but it's still pretty shocking. Last year in 2025, according to Steam DB stats, 21,407 games were released on Steam, the PC platform. Of those games, there's kind of the two buckets that they're going to. One is called games and one is called limited games. The limited games are ones that Valve has decided for whatever reason are not quite up to the standard of like a proper game. So let's say, and as a lot of people know, there's a lot of shovelware and just junk released on Steam every week. So let's say more like 5,000 of those 21,000 are actual games that people are downloading and checking out. That is an incredible number of games. That is close to 15 games a year by
Like even that 5,000 number that he said, I think that's still too high because a lot of those games are just garbage shovelware. And like the number of like actual competition is much lower. But I mean, yeah, we could look at the number of like all of them that are being released on Steam, but I mean, like he basically answered himself that yeah, a lot of these games are what do you call it, limited games. Um, let me I have him to keep up with the chat. Let me look at the chat real quick. Why all game news reports glazing just Jason guy because he's part of the circle. He's part of the inner circle. May have kid. Streaming from kid's crib. Why you guys hating on him? Hey, these are like actual. These don't look like kids books to me. These are thick. Kids books are. Do I have a kids book? This is what a kids book looks like. Like not very not as thick as those books are thick books. Like his this is a real book right here. This is a game design book, and this is the type like you see these thick books in his bookshelf back there. Chat. Um, and one of hold on one second. Tim Kaine. Yeah, see, what Liam said, Tim Kaine mentions that it was hard getting a house because, like, generally, in game development, you make less money than if you did anything else. If you're an engineer, if you're a programmer, and you work in game development, you make less money than if you were to do it for like a software development company. Um, so yeah, like it's game development's not where the money's at. Basically, a lot of these executives, they see it as the developers should feel privileged that they are working on games because it's basically like creative jobs. Um, it's people have a passion. They're more passionate to wanting to do these things because they want to have an avenue to bring their ideas to life, especially if it's an expensive idea. They want to bring these things to life. And so, therefore, the executives see it as, oh, this is a privilege. But they're not taking consideration that creativity also is a skill. Like it is you need to be skilled to bring your creativity to life, and also you have to understand certain principles to make things good, whether it's writing, like you're writing a story, character development, or like game design, graphics design, all these things require skill to make it good. So you can have an idea in your head, but like to bring it to life, you have to have an understanding. And that's where like these executives, they completely dismiss the idea. Oh, how hard it can be? How hard can it be to have ideas? That's why they pay less. Um, Play nice games from back in Seattle. Bet you had fun over there. I've been in Seattle once. I didn't care for it. It wasn't raining though. I went there for PAX Prime 2013. Maybe I bumped into you. Marry a rich person. Let's see. Let me try to catch up on the chat real quick. I'm just gonna skim through. Okay, all right. Let's get back to Jason.
By my little napkin. Or sorry, that is one take Schreier coming at you. That is close to 15 games a day by my napkin math. So you're competing against that. Sometimes a great game will stand out, break out from the pack, go viral, become a hit. More often, it will not. Just last week, it was revealed that the developers behind the game Mio Memories in Orbit had to shut down their studio despite releasing a game that was critically acclaimed and had great word of mouth.
Well, yeah, that game also had lots of scope creep. That was a problem with that. That I believe the game was originally supposed to take like 1 year, and then it took like 5 or 6 years for them to make this game that basically combines elements of classic Nintendo games like Zelda and other classic Nintendo games, and like you're not going to it's like that's a very niche, a very niche audience. Like to make a game specifically for people my age, millennials who grew up with a Nintendo, like maybe it might appeal to younger fans of not Hollow Knight, Shovel Knight, because that's what the other game that they made. But the budget's too high. Like you spent too long and you had too much of a too much scope creep, had too large of a budget. Or indie audience forgets about. Yeah, yeah. I like one key about indie developments that a lot of indie developers are talking about on YouTube is like make small games, make make smaller games, smaller scope, um, because for to be viable as an indie developer, especially with the fact that um it costs so much money to live. Like we don't have external budgets. We don't have like external money flowing in to pay us as we are developing a game. Like I have to work a job. I have to work at a warehouse. Like the advice a lot of people are saying is make your game really small so that the scope is shorter, so that you can release the game quicker, and that way you can the goal is to release like maybe 2 or 3 games a year, maybe even more. Of course also like try to keep the quality good, try to tell a good story, try to make it fun, try to make it quality, not make a broken mess. But the idea is to try to release more games, because that way you're making more money through uh, quantity, because there is just impossible to release like a triple A quality experience and expect that number of like high number of purchases.
This was a sci-fi Metroidvania. Granted, that is a very difficult genre to succeed in. It's an oversaturated genre. It's very hard to release a Metroidvania and find success these days. But still, the fact that game, and in fact, let me look up. I want to see how many like sales and kind of or what kind of stats it has. We can't see. Steam doesn't show sales, but as a lot of people know, it does show charts for concurrent users. It had a peak of 2,252 concurrent users, and let's see how many reviews does it have. It has more than 4,000 user reviews. So these are not signs of a failed game. But remember, the bigger your team is, and the more money you spend on them, the higher your threshold is for success. So even a game like this can lead to its studio shutting down because it was released in such a crazy market and could not quite hit the way its developers wanted it to. Not everything can be Mecha Chameleon. So let's say you are, I don't know, 23, just graduated college, you managed to scrimp and save, and maybe your parents help you out, maybe you found someone rich to mooch off, maybe you got a grant from your government. Those of us who aren't, those of us who are lucky enough to live in countries like Canada or Germany can actually apply for funds from those respective governments that can help support indie games and give you money, oftentimes with no strings attached. Sometimes you'll just get a check. So that might be one way to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, United States, we don't get grants for making video games. Instead, they give the money somewhat. They give the money to the chosen people. Guess I'm not chosen.
Let's say you do that for 2 or 3 years after you graduate college, and then you release your game and nobody plays it. Maybe it's good but not great, or maybe it even is great but it hasn't managed to crack the market. Because one thing that I didn't mention here is that you're friggin' 23, right? Like, how many 23-year-olds out there know how to make a great game, have the experience required to develop a great game, especially without resources, without any sort of support? Maybe it's them, and a couple of other people. Even if they're lucky enough to have a team of 10 people, that is a tall ask. Not to mention the whole management of it all. Not a lot of 23-year-olds know how to direct a team and manage them and keep them all on the same page. So chances of a game being great in the first place are pretty slim. So that's, not ideal. You'll probably be looking for another job after a few years if you go the indie route, unless you hit those lottery numbers and you are lucky enough to release a hit game. And I'll get into a couple of examples of those hit games in a couple of minutes. But I want to talk about the other option, because at the beginning of this, I was talking about that question of, hey, you just got laid off from your job at Bungie. Why don't you go indie? Well, if you just got laid off after, 10 years at Bungie or 10 years in the games industry, maybe you're in your 30s, maybe you have a baby to support, maybe you have house mortgage payments to keep up with. You might have, you built a life expecting a salary of a certain amount every single payday. And
man, he's talking to me. He's talking to me. Got laid off from Zwift. Got a family. Got babies. Got rent to pay. He's talking to me.
It is not quite as easy of you to go into ramen, scrimp, and save mode as it might be when you're 23. So now you're in this dilemma where, like, maybe you have a lot more experience. Maybe you could make a much better indie game than you could have 10 years ago. But now you have a life that you've built, and it is impossible for you to just give that up and go indie. In theory, I suppose you could go and get another job while moonlighting on the side. But again, how many people out there have the wherewithal, have the kind of fortitude to be able to make a game during the day or do something else during the day and then make a whole game every single night, every single weekend? And that, if you have children, that is impossible. That is an impossible.
Yeah, that's it's tough because it's like, okay, theoretically I can do it, like at the beginning of the day, like in the morning, or at the end of the day. Well, end of the night, I'm dead. Let's just say the beginning of the day, in the morning, before the sun comes up. Like, okay, but when am I going to spend time on applying for jobs? When am I going to spend time, like, I got this YouTube channel to also work on, because at least the YouTube channel, at least I can see the results. I could see number of views. I could see number of subscribers. I could see a little bit, just a tiny bit of revenue. I could see some results. Unlike developing a game in Unity, where it's like, okay, I don't see any results. I see no money coming in. I still want to do that, but it's hard to justify doing that over, like, sustaining the channel. But anyways, the point is, all these things I'm doing. I have my day job. I have applications I want to do. I'm trying to network with people, etc. I got a lot of things I'm trying to do. Upwork, etc. So it's hard finding time. And I'm agreeing with him right here.
Ask. So for a lot of those people, the only real option is trying to find another job. The industry has been very difficult. I've heard stories from developers who have been laid off, who have spent months, if not years, looking for new work. I have heard a few horror stories about people who just had good jobs, had experience in the video game industry, have not been able to find jobs 2-3 years after being laid off, have had to wound up taking
3 years, over 3 years for me. March 2023. And since then, I have not had a full-time job. Like, even my teaching job, which is with a community college, and it's the best paying job I have at the moment. The problem is that it literally lasts weeks. The job, when I have a class, like, for example, I'm about to have this, well, not about to, but later in this year, I will have this graphic design class. It's from October to December. It's 8 weeks long. It's only 8 weeks long, and then I have to wait till the next semester. And that's the problem with it. It's not full time, especially while the class is ongoing. It's not full time. So yeah, he's speaking to me. This is my life. Finding a job is rough. Especially, it's like, okay, you look at my background. It's like, okay, he's done QA work. We don't need QA. Oh, he's a game designer. What's a game designer gonna do here? Okay, all right, yeah, get this warehouse job. Get to work. Move boxes. Move some boxes for us.
kind of gig work to make ends meet. Maybe they're working in retail or for Uber or DoorDash as they try to scrimp and save. And it's really, really hard if you have a family at that point. Going indie at that point is not really an option unless you're lucky enough to find perhaps one of those kind of like ideal jobs where you're working for a small studio that is indie but yet has enough money because they've been successful enough to be able to hire people full time, a super giant, let's call it. So indie hits. A lot of people are looking around at Claire Obscure and Blueprints and Animal Well and Silksong and saying, why can't more people do what those people do?
But Claire Obscure isn't. It's double A. I like they keep on calling it indie because the so technically the studio is independent, but like we should be clear that they're a double A studio because of the funding that they get, and that's a key part of indie development is that the funding part, and they get a good amount of funding, and that's what leads them to be double A. I mean, look at the quality of the game.
You guys a few examples. Stardew Valley. I wrote quite a lot about Eric Barone, the creator of Stardew Valley and Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, my first book. Eric Barone he graduated from college, took a little bit of I think he took a job for maybe a few months or something like that. Regardless, he wanted to make an indie game. He had this idea in his head. He spent 4 or 5 years working on what would become Stardew Valley, his version of Harvest Moon. And the way he was able to do that is that his girlfriend, now I believe his wife, but his girlfriend at the time, supported him. He did take a few jobs here and there. He worked as a usher for a little bit at a theater, but for the most part, he was supported by his girlfriend. And that is how he was able to make Stardew Valley. And this is not something that he's like hiding. He gives her all the credit when he talks about that. What about Blueprints? One of my favorite games of the decade.
Yeah, and that, I mean, before we talk about like this whole like lottery ticket thing he's talking about, yeah, that is, I think that's the best example of lottery ticket because that was a huge gamble. He spent literally years working on this game and ended up being fantastic and a huge hit. So, but he's the exception. He's not the rule. So that's why it makes it a lottery ticket. So I agree with that. Like that example, yeah, that's a lottery ticket. But when we look at the ideal for being an indie developer, I discussed what the ideal should be. It's making a small game, releasing it, and try to get like multiple games out within a year. And then that basically snowballs. It becomes bigger. Yeah, the beginning is going to be rough because having only 1 or 2 games, like right now, I only have Nexus Defenders, and then even if I release Beware Tomorrow, I finish. I start today on Beware Tomorrow. I release it by August. Let's say I release it by August. I should release it by October. It's almost at October. Man. Anyways, I release it by August, and then it's a good hit. And then, but even then, like I only got 2 games, and that's it. But if I'm at my 10th game, I release my 10th game. I got 10 games going at the same time. They're both snowballs that are getting larger and larger. That's the ideal. You're making a lot of games rather than just trying to hope that okay, one's gonna like clear your credit card debt.
Mostly by a guy named Tanda Ross. He actually had some help. Eric Barone is one of the rare indie developers who just literally did everything by himself. Wrote all the code, wrote all the music, did all the pixels, did all the writing, all the design, everything he did by himself. Tanda Ross did a lot of it by himself, but also had a little bit of help. So how did Tanda Ross do it? He spent 8 years making Blueprints after a previous career as a cinematographer. Well, he did it because he operates a website called Mythic Spoiler that essentially posts spoilers for upcoming Magic the Gathering cards. And that website makes him enough ad revenue to support himself. He also lives a very austere life. He told me once he sleeps on the floor. I guess it's good for your back to sleep on the floor. But he lives a pretty austere life. All he does is make games. But that website and the revenue he got from it was able to support him over the course of those 8 years making Blueprints. Phenomenal game. So glad it exists. But still, that's just another example of how you can make an indie game. Also, Dinosaur does not have children, does not have a family to support. Silksong, Silksong came as a sequel to Hollow Knight, of course. Hollow Knight was kickstarted. The people at Team Cherry, Ari Pellin and Ari Gibson and William Pellin, they went into complete and utter like student mode for the making of Hollow Knight, which they made in about, I believe it was 2 or 3 years. They had their Kickstarter money, which could only take them so far, and then they would eat free sandwiches when the guy who shared an office, like the guy, their office neighbor, brought them in and offered them the leftovers. Ari and William told me once it was like an exciting day when they got the treat of getting to go and buy a coffee. And that's how they lived. And Hollow Knight was obviously a massive success, and that game set them up for life. Now they're multimillionaires, and then they were able to spend 7 years making Silksong without having to worry about financial pressure. But to make Hollow Knight, they needed to, things were tough for them working on that game, and they were also younger when they were doing that. I believe William now has a few kids to support. What else? Expedition 33. I don't know exactly where all of the money came from behind that game. We do know it's been reported that.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm trying to think of stuff to add as far as commentary, but like right now, like he's talking about like a lot of games are like exceptions to the rule, I guess these exceptions end up blinding the perception of what it's like to actually, get real success with indie development. I guess as far as, not only gamers, but also there are game developers who will think that it's gonna be, oh, I'm just gonna like make this game and it's going to be a huge success and it's going to pay off. I'm going to take a huge risk working for like a year or two, and then this game's gonna pay off. And it's like, no, it's not. It's most likely it won't because of the fact that you don't have an audience yet. Not only you don't have an audience yet, but if it's your first game, then you still have a lot to learn. I mean, like my game Nexus Defenders. I feel like the outcome was pretty good. I'm happy with how it turned out. I feel like it's a real game. But there are things I learned from it. I'm like, okay, next time I make a game, X, Y, and Z, all these reasons or all these things I learned, I'm gonna apply them to my next game so that I don't make the same mistakes and that I make an even better game. Like the more you do something, the better you get at it.
The director, the guy who ran it, came from Ubisoft and also comes from a wealthy family. I don't know, can't say for sure how much support he got or if he did get support. But one thing I will say is that if you do come from a rich family, if you're lucky enough to have that kind of support, one thing you have is a safety net, which means that you have more of an opportunity to go out there and try to do something and do without having to worry about living on the street. Because you can always call your parents and say, hey, can I move home for a bit? Hey, can you do something to keep afloat until my next job? And that safety net, the value of that cannot be overstated, and how many risks it allows you to take both in games and in other media, other industries where you might want to.
Having a family safety net is, I feel like that's one of the biggest factors as to why I feel like family building is so important. I mean, I don't live near my family. I do have some of my wife's family members that are close to here, but like one of my regrets. I mean, I don't want to go back to Indiana. I hate Indiana, but like one of my regrets of leaving Indiana is that a lot of my family is there, and um, I feel like having family members close by is important for survival. Um, because like when it comes down to it, the people who are going to help you the most when you're struggling are your family members.
Be an entrepreneur and do your own thing. Claire Obscura, they also, I mean, they made the game for pretty cheap. It was less than $10 million, I believe. All things pretty cheap, all things considered. They were a small team. I am guessing, this is an assumption, so do not quote me on this. This is just a guess, but I am guessing that a lot of them were working for less than they would make at a traditional company like Ubisoft. A lot of them were younger, and hopefully they got paid on the back end of the success of that game. What else? I mean, a lot of indie games, a lot of indie hits out there came from people who either were in a position where they were supported by someone else, they had funding from somewhere else. Some of these games, I mean, Crosscode is one of my other favorite games of the last few years. That game was made largely due to the support of a fund from the German government, which will give you a big chunk of change as long as you agree to keep a certain number of people in Germany. Like your workforce has to be in Germany, and you can apply for this arts grant, which is again something that we are not fortunate enough to have here in the USA. Another component, by the way, that you don't have to worry about if you are in many other countries is healthcare and paying for that, which is something that is an extremely significant expense that you have to worry about if you were to put your.
Yeah, I haven't had healthcare since I got laid off. Fortunately, my kids have healthcare. I mean, due to my financial situation, my kids can have healthcare, but me being the man, and also my wife gets healthcare too. But you're the man. You don't deserve help, even if you're financially struggling. You don't deserve healthcare. Get back to work. Move those boxes. You don't need healthcare. Your back hurts? Put some ice on it.
Job and go independent, or get laid off and go independent here in the United States. But I mean, I think the biggest common factor among a lot of successful indies is that they were young enough and not established enough that they could afford to take the risk. And they are also a perfect example of survivorship bias, because the majority of people who take that route, who go independent, whether it's them going independent just kind of straight away or getting some experience and then going independent, the majority of those people fail. The majority of those people release games that do not break out, that are lost among the sea of Steam releases that never get attention on Twitch or YouTube, that probably don't even get reviews. Maybe get a couple of reviews from press sites here and there, maybe get a Kotaku article or a Polygon article if they're lucky. But for the most part, it is very difficult, probably the same chances as winning the lottery, to find success as an indie game on Steam. So if you are someone who was laid off from a corporate video game position, you probably cannot really do that. It is just not practical to say, you know what, I'm going to go indie now. You just won't be able to afford it. You won't be able to pay for your life, and you certainly won't be able to pay for your children. So unfortunately, what a lot of those people will have to do is find new work within the video game industry. I'm guessing that a lot of them will leave the video game industry. The amount of brain drain that we've seen in the games industry over the last few years to decade has been, I think, pretty impossible to track, I would say. But just anecdotally from the stories I've heard, I think it's pretty brutal and will just lead to things getting worse over time. So it's just not an option. And I think that if you're like in that position, or if you're out there and you're saying, hey, why don't all these people just go indie? That's where all the cool stuff is. That's where all the success is. It is just not practical for the vast majority of people. And even those who do find it practical, chances are high they're not going to find success. Not to be all bleak, but I'm afraid the next couple of weeks are going to be a bleak time for the video game industry. So we're going to get a little dark here, and then maybe later in the summer we can talk about happier things, talk about all the cool games that are coming out in September and other good.
Okay. All right. So sure. Since we watched this as content for the stream, I'll give him a like. I'll give him a like and help him out. Thank you, Jason Schreier, for sharing your perspective. So the thing that I agree with a lot that you said, as far as like, yeah, this it costs money to live, and you can't just make a game without making money to live. And that's my situation. But like, it's not just about, so success as an indie developer isn't just about like having a huge hit. It's about consistency. So let's look at a few. So we got so let's look at these guys. So this is like the example of a putting all your eggs in one basket. Sasquatch B Studios. Let's so this guy, him and his wife, I think that's his first video. Let me go to oldest. Yeah. His very first video, sold our house to fund game. Wah wah. And the thing is, like, he didn't release a game until like last year, I think. Um his channel's growing though, but the thing is he's a lot of people criticize him as like blind leading the blind, because he teaches how to be an indie game dev, but didn't release a game until like last year. And it was a game jam game, and then he was like, okay, yeah, here it is, this cozy game. He made cropulation. They made this game jam game, cropulation. I wonder how. Maybe there's a link in the. I want to see the Steam page. Whoop, turn that off. Yeah, there it is, right there. Let's see. Oh wow, only 10 reviews. That is not good considering the size of his whoa. That considering the size of his his view his he has seven like almost 71K subscribers and only 10 reviews. That means it didn't sell very well. I mean, it's basically like I said, it was a game jam game, and then he ended up refining it and then releasing like, I guess, a bigger version. So this is his one game, and basically, like, well, he was working on other games. Let's go to videos real quick. Um, he was working on other games in case basically kept on quitting them. Um, so first he was working on this Hollow Knight wannabe. I'm being mean now. I shouldn't say I should it's Metroidvania. I shouldn't be mean. Probably a nice guy. Because someone isn't getting the success they want doesn't mean that they're a bad person. I should be nicer. Anyways. So it's like this game with a monk. I'm trying to like work through the timeline here. But anyways, yeah, well, I don't think this is it. But anyway, yeah, this one with a monk. So this a Hollow Knight inspired game, and he wanted to be a 16-hour experience. And I remember leaving a comment saying, "Hey man, 16 hours is a bit ambitious for you to be an indie developer and release a game." And he never finished this game. He never finished it. He quit the game. And then he was working on a roguelite called Samur Samurado. It's like avocado and samurai. So he didn't make a get. He was like, just making a bunch of videos about how to make um indie games, like all these like can't code, how to do these like tutorials, all these stuff. Then he was, I guess I skipped. I passed it. There it is, right here. This one with the avocado samurai, and this is a roguelike, and he never finished that one either. And that was supposed to be a smaller scale. And then finally he made Cropulation and released that like a year ago. Um, but still, like people criticize him for being like blind leading the blind because he only released one game that's a game jam game. And this is like this is the people who see like the success of like what Jason was talking about, like people who see the success of Stardew Valley or Hollow Knight, and then like I can do that too. And then you know, this guy is basically a YouTuber now. He focuses more on making money off of YouTube and sponsorships than he does actually making game development. So that's why he gets a lot of um criticism. But then you have people like Code Monkey, this guy. Code Monkey is one like where is his post? Yeah. So let's go to his posts real quick. I know he posted one recently, but it shows like how much money he made. And this guy basically he's been doing this for like over 10 years. Um there it is. Okay, yeah, here it is. I made over $1 million with my 9 games on Steam. And basically he says like none of them are hits. None of these games are hits, but the fact that he's made so many games and he's been consistent with it, that's helped him with his revenue because not only is he making money off of his like this brand Code Monkey with his videos and tutorials and the courses he makes, but also he's been very consistent with making games, and that helps. Like it basically the snowballing effect I was talked about earlier. The more games you have, then like they consistently make you more money because like even if a game's been out for like 5 years, someone just hears of it now. They're like, oh, I'm gonna try it out. It'll still make money 5 years later. Not as much money, but it'll still make money. Um, Especially with a growing audience. So Code Monkey is more of the example of consistency, and that's the I think that's the key point that Jason didn't mention is that like to get your indie studio going, you need to basically have a consistent flow of games. Bite Me Games, they're another example. So Bite Me Games is not like they're growing. Like I don't think they're just now getting to the point where they're like recouping money. But that's because they have been consistently making lots of games. Like they have lots of games on Steam, and they're constantly they release multiple games every year. And their latest one made this much money, $73,000, within the first month, I believe. So, and that's because of the fact that they're making more and more games. They're getting better at making games. They're getting better at understanding the marketing, getting better at making games themselves, getting better at making more marketable games. So it's like I said, the consistency of making games. Let me catch up with the chat. Let me see what you guys talking about. All right. Yeah, so Peaceful Dance, you said that how much critically acclaimed is worth these days. Yeah, like that's why like I feel like his message was incomplete because of that. Because he just focused on the outliers that made that basically made bank, that were very financially successful, rather than looking at the more ideal outcome, the more ideal way to reach success. Like, like Bite Me Games, I feel like they're getting there. Code Monkey, I feel like he's already there. Though Code Monkey, I don't think he's married or anything. He's a single guy. He lives by himself. Um, so he doesn't have to take care of anybody other than himself. I think these guys are married. Not with each other. Like they have wives. That's what I mean. I'm not. Anyways, um, but yeah, the point being like Jason focused too much on the critically acclaimed, the outliers. Musin with a high guard. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like the, that wasn't even paying for a lottery ticket. Like, that was throwing money in the trash. High Guard was not a lottery ticket because it was never going to succeed, even when everything was pushing for it to succeed. Like, they had their trailer at, the Game Awards, all of the shills were shilling out for it, but at the end of the game at the end of the day, the game wasn't anything special, and that's why um it wasn't gonna succeed. Let me get myself on screen. I should set up a scene where it's me but also have the chat on screen as well. Anyways, let me continue reading the chat. Uh where are you? Chat. Okay, we're an hour 36 in. Okay, I need to yeah, wrap things up. But anyways, let me get through the chat. Again, as I'm going through the chat and trying to wrap things up, um, if you want to do a super chat, feel free to leave a super chat. It really helps the channel out. And if you can't or don't want to do a super chat because financially it's too much for you, uh, please leave a like. Hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. Cosgrove, I see you. I see you in the chat. I guess I skipped you. I guess I didn't scroll far enough. Or anyways, how's it going, Cosgrove? Sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. And Mr. 10 years, I didn't say salam to you. Salam alaikum. Let me scroll back to where I was, try to get back to this. Um Yeah, Liam, you mentioned that the game dev job security depends on the department you work in. Yeah, so like basically, I think the departments that will give you the best job security are um programming slash engineering or art because both of those you can go into multiple different industries. I understand art is kind of rough as far as like getting a full-time job. A lot of times artists will have to do like contract work, but at the end of the day, if you market yourself well enough, if you're an artist and you market yourself well enough, then you can potentially make more contracting work than being a full-time employee. Because when you're an employee, like you can only make so much, but when you're a contractor, there's much more reward. There's a bigger risk because you're not getting consistent pay, but you have higher chance of reward. Um, Scroll back down to where I was on the chat. I'm looking at the big chat now. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Double Night Dev have giving game funds as communism. I mean, the thing about giving game funds is like, yeah, it's nice for like as a game developer, it's like okay, it's nice to have a source of money coming from outside. But the key thing is there's always strings attached. Like, especially like government grants, when they pay you to do like any sort of entertainment, they want a specific thing from it as well. Like I signed up for a couple of grants last month. Um like one was like a video editing one and one was a game, and like both of them had to be like there was like a specific topic or something, a specific message that needed to be within it. And I didn't hear back from either of them, so I'm assuming that neither of them went through. But yeah, like there's always strings attached. Mohsen, asking me if I can do 1 hour for the game every day. I mean, like, I guess, technically I can. I just need to, like, I'm gonna be honest. I need to do better with, um, just getting myself, what's the word? I need to do better with getting myself, on a routine again, because I fell off, like, especially with working out. Discipline, that's the word I'm looking for. My discipline has fallen off these past 3 years. I've gained weight. I don't work out as much. I don't work out as hard as I used to. Um, and I'm trying to get myself back in gear. That's the goal. The goal is I feel like if I can get myself, like, working out consistently, almost every day, like, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, hitting the gym. I haven't been to the gym in forever. Like I have, I don't know if you can't see, but I have like some um kettlebells back there. I do some kettlebell workouts. I do shadow boxing, but I need to go to the gym consistently and hit weights, and also hit the heavy bag. I can do that consistently. I feel like that itself will help my discipline so that everything else falls in line, because um when I was in like really good shape, being disciplined and being focused was a lot easier than it is now. Right now it's a lot more tough. But I have more kids now too, especially my toddler. She always wants my attention. Sometimes she'll scream and knock on my door. I shouldn't use her as an excuse though. That should be a motivation, not an excuse. But yeah, Mohsen, that's my reason right now, but I'm making an attempt to get better at being disciplined so that I can get to the point where I'm putting in an hour every day. See, let me get back to this. Pizza talk over here. I'm glad Play Nice Games that you're making pizza in Italy. That's that right there. That's awesome. You're living the dream. Like that's not many people can say that. It's like, yeah, I worked on Shadow of Mordor and then I decided to move to Italy to make pizzas. Like that's just an awesome story to tell. Like that's that itself, the setup for that premise is a little just perks up people's ears. Like, oh, tell me more about that. That sounds interesting. Tell me more. How did you go from A to Z? Yeah, Liam. As far as marketing, like it takes so much time. Like this is literally the primary reason. I mean, of course, I think it's fun making videos, doing these live streams and all that. But the primary reason why I justify doing the channel is for marketing. Is because like if I don't do this, I'm not building an audience. And if I have no audience, like, who am I selling a game to if I have zero audience? Like that's basically why I do this. And it takes up so much time. Like especially like last year I was making a video a week. Sometimes I was doing like 2 videos a week. That was taking up too much time. That's why I had to cut that out and start doing like 1 a month. Um, don't sell your house. It's like someone jumping in the side. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even have a house to sell, man. I live in an apartment. I wish I had a house. I'd be paying less money. That's the thing. Like here in Texas, it's like if I was paying a mortgage on a house, that would be cheaper than paying rent for this apartment. It's like paying rent is like a poor tax. I can't get a house because I don't have a steady income. Because I applied to get a mortgage to get a house and I got denied because I didn't have steady income, didn't have that basically like disqualified me. Anyways, let me get back down. Well, Mohsen, I'm not like gatekeeping the activities. It's just I feel like um hitting the gym and getting physically fit is priority right now. Like as far as my self-development goes. Like I mean, of course I have other priorities. I have taken care of my family. I have to, follow God and do my religious duties and all that, but like as far as personal development, one of my priorities is physical fitness because not only will it build the discipline, but I just simply need to be in better shape. I gained a lot of weight in these last 3 years. Um, yeah, I have a bad back. I had back surgery like 9 years ago. Um, I hit 40 years old this year. I It is very important for me to try to be in shape, and that's why I feel like uh gym is the thing that I need to like just solidify into my routine. So it's not that I'm gatekeeping, it's just I feel like that's the most important thing that will help everything else get better. With it, a small bit over time. Yeah, I agree. Small bites over time. Yeah, I agree with you. Gym, games, wife. No, wife above games. I haven't played in so long. I wanna play. Hey, Zedzag. Hey, Salam, how you doing? Is your game on sale? Let me plug your game real quick. Is it on sale during this? It should be. Let's go to Steam real quick. I'm gonna talk about your game. I'm gonna call you out. Yeah, it is on sale. Let's put it on screen. I'm gonna put a link. Gonna put a link in the chat. There we go. And I'm gonna show it on screen. Here we go. Call Center Tycoon. Zedzag made this game. This is his game. Check it out. Check it out. Here we go. Put this. I don't know if the music is copyright or not, so I'm not gonna turn on the audio. But this is basically Zedzag's game. So I left the link in the chat. Um yeah, my game's on sale too. I already talked about it though. I'm gonna talk about your game. Friend of the the channel, Zedzag. But here's Call Center Tycoon. Um Anyways, as I wrap things up, because I've been going for a while. I'm well over the the one and a half hours. An hour 50 minutes, almost 2 hours. So let me wrap things up. I do have this new video. I'll probably I'm gonna make this go live after the um the stream ends. But the new video is The industry targets men. Gaming's exploitation exposed. So basically, the game industry purposely makes games addictive towards men. And that's the new video. I'll go live in a second. So I'd appreciate you guys. When you see it in your feed, click on the video to help the algorithm. Give it a like, leave a comment. So I'm going to let this go live after we end the stream. So I'd really appreciate that you watch through the video and leave a comment, because basically that just helps boost the algorithm, and then more people will find the video. So hopefully you guys like the video. Haven't released a video since early May, so it's been almost 2 months. But and like I said before, I'm doing the memberships. So if you want to be a member, it's $5 a month, and it's basically like you telling me, "Hey, I appreciate your work. Here's $5 to help the brand going." And in return, you basically get a shout out. Like the next video I make, I'm gonna give you shout out, as well as you get access to the video a day early. I'm going to add some emojis, like probably the
Ugh. Brother,
probably like you,
ugh.
brother. Probably that. Probably add that as an emoji. I'll add some emojis because emojis should be funny. No one wants serious emojis. But yeah. What else? So emojis. You get priority as far as replies in the comments. But that's what the members get. That it's not a lot, but it's basically me saying thank you for the support. So if you want to do $5 a month, I appreciate it. If you can't do $5 a month, don't worry about it. You're not like I'm not taking away access to anything. The channel's not big enough for me to do that. So um and I guess I'm going to wrap it up. Hold on, let me see. Great. Hey, yeah, thank you, Name Gnome. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks to everybody who is on the stream. Appreciate all you guys showing up, even if you showed up last few minutes, like Zedzag. I appreciate all you guys showing up to the stream, and yeah, I gotta get back to work. I got to do a lot of stuff today, but thank you for showing up. I appreciate you guys. Take care and salam.